Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Well, this is for anybody in a relationship, a committed relationship. We're talking about a marriage or some kind of partnership and improving that relationship and doing it with 30 minutes a day, just taking some effort, putting into it and radically changing it into something that's stronger, longer lasting, powerful. We're going to go there today with that. And she helps people with their relationships all the time. Purposeful Pathways Life Coaching is her business. And Allison Cowan is back with us. Welcome, Allison. How you doing?
I'm great, Steve. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. I think a lot of us, even if you're in what you think is a solid relationship, sometimes think maybe it could be better. And unfortunately, sometimes people pivot in other directions. And sometimes there's animosity, sometimes there's anger in relationships, but maybe you didn't take, or these people didn't take those steps to improve it. So why don't we start? Obviously, it's communication. That's, the key to everything, right?
And all of this, all of this is about communication. And, is it okay if I show the book that I'm going to be?
Sure.
So first, I want to say I am not a therapist, nor do I act as a therapist. However, I have found this book, Couples Therapy Workbook, to be very, very powerful, asks insightful questions, and also gives a lot of explanation prior to the questions that a couple or a partnership or people in a partnership would be asking each other. And I would highly recommend it to anyone who wants to, improve their relationship and keep things alive. The area that I was looking at was about friendship. And there's a quote by Friedrich Nietzsche that says, "It's not a lack of love, but a lack of friendship that makes unhappy marriages." And we could substitute the word marriages with relationship,
sure,
partnership, anything like that. And I just found it very intriguing.
Yeah. And relationships usually start out with friendships, as they should. And then that goes away sometimes, or it kind of drops down. And even though there is commitment, there could be love. I wonder why that happens. Why does the friendship part, why does that kind of fade away?
Well, and it's really interesting that you mentioned that, because here it says, in the beginning of relationships, you usually think of your partner as a friend and maybe even your best friend.
For sure.
And you can't wait to hear how their day was,
Yep.
You enjoy each other, you laugh, find common ground. Things are more easy, there's more ease and compromise, because it's coming from a friendship point of view, even if there's like romantic feelings or other feelings, but the friendship, is solid. So it's interesting that you said that you just it's like you read the book.
Yeah, but I failed the test. That's the problem.
No.
But I believe that with the friendship thing, it should always stay silly, fun, even after years, even if it's a goofy kind of text or, I'm connected with somebody now and like we'll text back and forth and it's a short-term thing here so far. And she'll type back the word jerk. And it makes me laugh. And she's just, she's being funny, but it's like, I'll just say something and one word jerk. And she doesn't mean it,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
funny. I laugh at it. It's and then there's, little things go, back and forth, whatever. But that should continue. But a lot of times in relationships, marriages, sometimes that all goes away. Understandably, other stuff gets in the way, mortgage, kids, all that other stuff going on there. But when you boil it right down, that blanking stuff ain't important, because you let it become important, and then that's what happens. Then
And it
that
takes
clouds
over.
the other. Yeah.
Yeah. And it says, and I feel like a little bit that I'm, you know, reading a little bit from the
No, it's
book.
a it's it's
Um,
it's it's a guide, and then we
so
interpret
thank
what's in
you. So
there.
thank you, everybody, for allowing me not to, or allowing me to kind of just have a reference, because I think
Sure.
this is important. So it says, if you have continued to feel like good friends, you're very fortunate, as friendship is a key foundational component of a healthy relationship. You may irritate each other, you may annoy each other, but then because of the friendship, you're able to turn it back into a positive light
Mm-hmm.
and laugh at it.
Yep. Yep. And if you stay in the, I don't know if it's going to make sense, but in the friend zone in your relationship, I don't mean true friend zone, but stay friends, like truly stay
Right,
friends,
right.
you
It's,
communicate better.
yeah, so it's not about being in the friend zone.
Right.
It's
But
about,
staying friends, say,
yes.
friend component part of relationship. If you remain friends throughout the duration of the relationship, then you communicate even better about all things, even physical stuff, all of it. You feel comfortable in being open about things. But once that friendship thing starts to close, that door starts to close a little bit or a lot, you don't
Mhm.
communicate as much because of it. And then what we said in the beginning, communication. So then the train starts going off the rails.
Yeah. And it mentions, if you stop thinking of each other as friends, but start thinking of each other even as spouses or partners, co-parents,
Mm,
financial partners, we can start putting all of these little categories in. Um, so yes, you're my spouse or my partner, and the friendship doesn't happen first, then you're not going to treat each other with the same amount of respect.
nope. And also with that, I think you might agree that if it started as friends, but then that kind of went away, and like you said, it's more of like business. Like, all right, we got to take care of paying this, paying that. When the relationship ends, which it might, if you lose that component, what does it turn into? Going to be harsh to say this, but it's the reality. It's a business transaction. It's a business deal when you go through the divorce stage. Now, all it is just robotic and money and assets and that kind of stuff. Um, but then sometimes you let that happen, not even knowing you're doing it.
Right. And emotional needs are often then not met because we're not, going back again to communication,
Mm,
as a when you're communicating within a friendship, your emotional needs, or whatever your needs might be, um, you're more likely to listen to each other rather than, um, well, here's my this or my that, my spouse or my partner, and that's all you are. Then we lose that huge,
hmm
um, part of how we need each other in relationships.
Yep. And it's interesting looking at relationships from my view, even couples that are together and do stuff, on vacation, they do date night twice a month, whatever it might be. Um, Fantastic. But if you're not doing it where you're coming from the angle of friends, you're doing it, hey, just to get out, got to get away from the kids, whatever it might be. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
You're halfway there. I think you're halfway there if you're in that situation. So many couples don't do stuff together. Maybe that's a negative there. But if you have the friend thing going on there and you never lose that, then I think you'll never have issues.
Well, and that's the interesting thing is there will be issues.
Of course. Well, okay. You'll never have, thank you. You'll
Yeah,
never
there
have
will be
issues
issues.
that you can't deal with.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that, again, it goes back to communication. It always goes back to communication. And when you're communicating with a friend versus something else, it's much easier to express yourself,
Mm-hmm.
talk about things, have that respect for what the other person is saying, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And it says here, when a couple does not feel they have a healthy friendship, they are more likely to be easily annoyed with each other and less likely to make it a priority to spend quality time together,
Mm-hmm.
nurturing their connection.
Yep. Yeah. So true. It's so true. Okay, so here's I guess the next question. How do you continue that friendship thing?
Well, and this is where, again, I really would love to recommend this book. Because then it goes from, so there's a whole side that talks about what we've just been talking about. And then there are questions that you and your partner talk about. So, and you take turns asking the questions and answering the questions. So the first one is, do you think I make spending time with you a priority? And sometimes these aren't always easy questions. And there's a list of 10. I'm just going to go through a couple. Do I treat you with enough respect and consideration?
Mm.
Are you ever hurt by the things that I say to you? Do I act like I value what you bring to my life? Are you able to have as much fun with me as you do with your other friends?
Mm. All right. What we just did there is opened up the proverbial can of worms, because if you have the perception that you don't have your partner doesn't have as much fun with you as the friends, then there could be jealousy. And every time that partner goes out with their friends, that starts an issue right there. So that's one, put that over there. Yeah. So, right. Yeah. Mm.
And do I tell you enough how much I appreciate your friendship? Is one. And then the last question is, how can I be a better friend to you? And I may have skipped a couple, but they really, it just opens up the communication. And it's why I love this. It
Mm.
opens up the communication.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, well, how do I communicate? What questions do I ask? How do I know? I may think I'm communicating, yet am I? And, it's just a guideline.
Mhm.
But it's a way of opening up that communication.
Sure.
So,
Without a doubt.
and it could be, um, lately I've been having more fun with my friends than with you. What are we going to do about it?
Mm. Yep. It's almost at some point, some of those questions, when you get to a point in a relationship, I think the longer you go without asking those questions, it's harder to ask those questions. You know?
Yes, yes. And I think, like, again, I just, with this book, I think it's something that can be recycled over and over and
Mhm.
over. And it's like, okay, you get through the book, you start again. Um, because the questions and the answers may be different from
Yeah.
one one conversation to another. And I just think that it's I've just found this invaluable. It's
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, Allison, I think you nailed it in terms of relationships, because when that's gone, there's a lot gone. So, yeah, and a lot of times couples don't take the time to revisit that, and then things just fade away. Time goes by, and it just, the friendship thing, when it was nice and strong here in the beginning, starts kind of dissipating, and you start losing stuff. Then other things go away, because of the communication goes away, and then it gets to the point where it's like, sometimes you can't turn back. It's unfortunate that we don't look at that and ask those questions. And I love the fact that those questions are there. Doesn't mean you have to actually ask them, but you know, and I view you as a friend. How can I be a better friend? Like, we're friends, so look at it this way: your relationship with your friends, not your, partner, spouse. When you ask that question, if you felt that things were a little off with your friend, a really good friend, when you say, how can I be a better friend to you? You probably would be easy. It would be easy to ask that question. But when it comes to your partner after some time, it's kind of hard to ask that question, but you gotta think that way. You got to think
yeah,
that way.
absolutely. And that's where I think this section is so wonderful, because you can ask that to your friends and they're going to be honest with you.
Hmm.
They're going to be like, I felt like, um, you know, we haven't been as in touch as much lately as I'd like us to be.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'd like to spend more time with you. And they're just gonna, and then there's no hard feelings. Okay, let's see what we can do to fix that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's, you know, like relationships within couples or partnerships can be more emotionally charged. Um, and I think some of these take these questions, and then the beginning, it takes some of the emotional charge out of
Mm.
the question.
But if you ask the question and you act on the question, let's say I want to spend more time, like more fun friend time together.
Mhm.
Then when you do, assuming you do and you should, it's got to be genuine. You can't just go through the motions. It's got to be, it's got to have that same playful, fun stuff that you had in the beginning. You can't just show up.
No,
And
pretend.
that goes for both. That goes for both.
No, because if because then it would go back to the question, um, um, do I act like I value what you bring to my life?
Hmm.
And if we want, I'm acting like it's like you and I like, but I guess it's a little role play.
Go ahead,
if
I'm
I
here.
if
Honey,
I'm
honey,
pretending,
what do you want to say? What do you want to say, honey?
if I was pretending and you'd pick up on it, and then there's the question, am I adding value to your life? Well, yeah. However, I felt a little like when we went and did something fun, whatever it might be, it felt a little fake,
Mm,
or it
forced.
felt a little
Hmm.
forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the word I was going to use first. I wasn't sure. Forced, fake.
Yeah, same kind of thing. But then maybe it's think of what you could do. Whatever you're going to be doing, let's go do something together, want to have fun, something silly, whatever. Um, let's go indoor rock climbing. Let's go. I just had a friend hit me up before and asked to go axe throwing. Hey, why don't we go, bunch of dates come get together and go axe throwing. I've done it before a couple of times. There's one good place near me that's fairly newly open. I said, yeah, we should go to that place. Because that opens the door to silliness, instead of like, let's just go to dinner. Nothing wrong with that, but if you're going to do that, take it to other levels, different kind of restaurant. Let's go to a place that has, if you like tequila flights, let's try something different. It's got to
Yeah.
be, you got to put a little bit of work in that.
And
Um,
then what if it's a flop? So what if you plan something fun? So I'm just like all of a sudden thinking, so you plan something fun, you're both excited, and it's a flop.
that's a tough one. And you'd
Is
have
it
to
a flop? Is it a flop because somebody didn't put in the effort? Or was it just a flop? And because we're friends, we're gonna laugh about it.
well, listen, sometimes you can go out with friends and it's a sucky night. It's
Yeah,
just like, it's,
yeah,
you
yeah.
you could line up, a whole bunch of friends and it's like, eh, it didn't meet the expectations. However, I'm going to say this. Um, if you're friends and you're real friends, it usually doesn't happen. It usually
Or
doesn't happen.
you laugh about the
Or you
fact
laugh it
that
off.
this was so this was so ridiculous.
Right.
Um, we tried, and it ended up being ridiculous, and like, then there's laughter
Right.
after.
Right.
So,
Yeah. But that's where the friend component is, but component comes in, but you both have to be on the same page, you
yeah.
know. And then if it's you're putting in the work to make it fun, genuinely though, not forced, and the other person really isn't coming to the table, man, you gotta have to have that conversation. And but I think even before you do that, you have to set it up in sending a text. And one thing that I've learned is show gratitude. Even if it's, I really appreciate you, whatever it might be. Don't stop doing that.
And
And
that was question number 4. Do I treat you with enough respect and consideration?
yeah, you can't lose that.
That gratitude.
Yeah, appreciation. It's so easy to get lost in all of that. And the card once or twice a year, the anniversary, whatever, it's not enough. And you know what? That's nice, and it could come from a good place. It's not the same as getting a text randomly one day and just like, oh, wow, okay, they actually do care. All right, and you might
And
not get the instant feedback you want right away, but if you do it a few times, you might.
and that's interesting. And I'm going to share something about myself, and others probably have very different opinions.
Hmm.
Please don't send me flowers. I don't want I don't want flowers.
Mm.
Yes, they're beautiful. And I know people who just love when they get flowers. I'm just like, oh gosh, I have to trim them, I have to take care of them.
Mm.
Um, let's do something else instead.
I got you. Yeah.
Those flowers sitting there making a mess all over my counter, um, are not,
Yeah.
you know,
I get it. And so my thing is, if you're going to do it, um, listen, if the person says, I don't like flowers, you got to listen to them. But if you don't hear that, if you're going to do it, there should be a special reason, not occasion, and it should be connected to something. Maybe it's the color. Like I get creative. There's got to be a reason for it. Um,
or
uh,
maybe there's because I know like with flowers, there are meanings behind flowers. So
yeah, yeah,
flowers. And if it's like, I'm sending you this, okay, so I guess I'm kind of double backing on myself, but if there's a flower that meant something, and I can't even think of off the top of my head,
sure.
but I'm sending you this flower because,
There's a reason. Yeah.
and there's
Over the weekend, over the weekend, you took a walk, went through a park, and you said, daffodils are really pretty. I never realized how much I like them. And then you get daffodils. And you pick, it could be, tiger lilies. Pick any flower.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
it shows up. Then it's like, oh, it means something. Or take flowers out of the equation. Let's say you just, I got to order that. I love that perfume, whatever it might be. I'm running low on it. I like it. And then it shows up. That shows that somebody was listening. I just did that the other day. Um, I'm not kidding. And as fate would have it, she already bought it in the store anyway. But I was like, I heard it and I like the way it smells too. And it was like $24. I'm not even kidding. But it was just like, just being thoughtful, mindful.
yeah.
Or mentioned, Easter's coming. And so she said, I saw a bag of jelly beans and it was like $6 for the classic jelly beans. I'm not going to spend $6 on so I go on Amazon, it's $8. I'm like, well, I don't really care. Send it. And, came over with Taco Bell last week and I dropped it in the Taco Bell bag. And, what's
Oh,
this?
that's funny.
Yeah, like silly
That's
stuff like
funny.
that.
It's like, oh, you think you're getting Taco Bell, instead you're getting jelly
Right.
beans. Wow.
And
That's that's novelty. And
no,
our brains love novelty.
it's just thinking. And actually, it was Taco Bell. She brought it and it was a last minute thing and took the stuff out. And with her out, not even noticing, I dropped the jelly beans in right in front of her. She didn't even see it. And then I said, what's left in this bag? And she's like, after the surprise, like, how did you even get that in there? I'm like, you weren't even looking. Drop the bag in there. And then she, little things like that. It's just, that's $8. What, can make a difference. If you listen, and that's part of it. And if you listen, be a little creative. Put a post-it note on the bathroom mirror. With whatever.
There's so many creative ideas.
Yeah, it's actually fun after a while. Once you get in the rhythm of doing it, it's like, what could I do? Somebody gets in their car and they see something on the dashboard. It doesn't have to be flowers. It doesn't have to be a whole big deal.
Yeah.
Somebody's addicted to chapstick and you put, chapstick in there and, kiss you later, whatever.
Sometimes the smallest things mean,
Yeah. Just
are the biggest things.
it's just you got to keep it going though and have fun with it, and I think a part of it is also listening. And a lot of times we don't listen. We just, blocks go up, or you get to the point where you start not liking that person. So you're not even wanting to listen sometimes, it's but that workbook is really good. I mean, it does bring things to light.
And this was conversation 2 out of 30.
Wow. Wow. I find, and well, we're way over time again.
I know. Conversation 2 out of 30. I'm going to show the book again.
Sure.
Just because, I think sharing things like this can be very helpful for people. And, lovely.
What we could do? We could change the title of that because, it's very clinical, couples workbook.
Yeah.
You could change it to the secret weapon to a better relationship. And it could be the same thing in the book, but you view it in a different way. Now
I
you're
like
armed
that.
with stuff. And it's also the steps to, because a lot of us like, what do I do? I don't know. What should I text? What should I do? If it's there, it makes it easy. But you're definitely there to help people if they want to navigate through all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And this is just it's a tool.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
And we all need tools, and it doesn't mean, and even then, through coaching and a tool, wow, look at where people could end up.
Listen, if I read that book, I probably would still be married. But things happen, and but the one thing is you can't lose the friendship part. You can't lose the friendship part. So important. Purposeful Pathways, lifecoaching.com is your website. I know you offer a free consult just so somebody can determine if it's a right fit and everything.
And during the month of March, I am offering a special. 4 sessions, $200.
Wow.
Got to get out of this winter. Let's get through the winter. Let's get through March.
Yeah.
So I am offering a special, and get in contact with me, and that still includes the complimentary discovery.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah. And what a way you could change your life, or change your life back to the way it was. Maybe your relationship train got off the tracks a little bit. Time for a reset. Allison, always great talking with you.
Same here, Steve. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.